What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikiPikaPapa, and I'm always excited to bring you guys new content, new data dives, but this is probably the most excited I've been since creating this channel, and it's not just because I think the content today is great, which I do, but I think that it's really exciting for us collectively as a group because in order to come up with this data, I had to pull a ton of data, and I now have that in what we'll call our little data warehouse, and it's not going anywhere, and I can continue to update it as time goes on. And as impactful as this data is going to be today, I think it's going to be really, really impactful and really cool to see how it matures over the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months. I promise I'm going to keep this channel going as long as you guys keep subscribing, commenting, and liking the content. Then I'm having a ton of fun with this, and I'm just going to continue to keep it rocking. So I started off with this slide and this picture of Mr. Yogi Berra. So if you don't know who he is, he was a Hall of Fame catcher for the New York Yankees way back in the 40s and 50s. Just a funny guy. He was known for his sayings, and this is one of my favorites of his. It's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. And I wanted to lead with that because so the tool that I use, it's a BI interface. You put in sales data over any period of time, and then the BI interface will spit out projections based off of previous tens and previous price points. And so it can be dangerous to look at projections about the future unless you understand that, hey, these are more guidelines than anything. I always talk about us adding tools to our tool belt. I always talk about us playing chess when other people are playing checkers, right? So this is just another tool that we're adding to our tool belt. And again, as I said earlier, as impactful as it is today, I think it's going to be infinitely more impactful in the future as we continue to get more data points, because the more data points you have, the more valid the data becomes. So with all that being said, I also thought I'd bless you guys with another couple Yogi-isms. Like everybody's heard, it ain't over till it's over. That came from Yogi Berra. Baseball is 90% mental, the other half physical. Like, that's awesome. You can observe a lot by watching. If you just want to kill some time, look up Yogi Berra quotes. The guy's an absolute riot. So now that I've led with that, I also want to say, hey, I am amazed and I am humbled and I'm honored that this channel's growing. Like, I get a couple new subscribers every day. I love the comments. As I always say, it challenges me. So if you've been watching this and you've been on the fence, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment down below. It's really going to help us grow. And I just love hearing from you guys. Like, that's why I do this. So anyways, now I'll get off my soapbox on that. Let's take a look at this. So what I did was, first off, I had a 3-hour flight home, and then I had 4 hours to kill at the airport because I was picking somebody up. So I said, what am I going to do with this 7 hours of lost time? And one of the things that bothers me about TCG is I can only get 1 year's worth of data from TCG Player, right? So what I decided was the only way to change that is either they open up more data or I just start warehousing it myself. So I went through all of Sun and Moon, all of Sword and Shield, all 24 sets that have booster boxes, and I recorded every single final price of that booster box for all of 2022. So I have the final price for all the booster boxes for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 12 data points for all the booster boxes that were out for at least 12 months. You see Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, obviously those are new releases, so we don't have all those data points yet. But then you can put it into that BI interface that I was talking about, and it gives you projections based off of the sales price and the trends that it sees in the market, okay? So, listen, I know nobody wants to work a farm. Everybody just wants the vegetables on the plate. So what I'm doing here is I'm showing you behind the curtains. I'm showing you everything that went into it because I want you to understand how valid everything is and not all the work that went into it, but just to understand that, hey, listen, we took known good figures, which are from TCG Player. We put it into a known good calculator. This isn't Ryan's, napkin math or anything. Like, this is a BI interface tool that I use all the time in real world scenarios. So, so we have known good data into a very good data crunching source. And so the output is good, but the output is only good if we understand that there are external forces that can affect this. So, say there's a recession in 2023. Who knows? Maybe there will be. Let's say Pokemon all of a sudden decides to go ahead and print infinite number of boxes that they weren't going to do before, right? Like, we all hear about they're going to do a new print run. We're not sure what the sets are going to be, but if they start printing Evolving Skies, until their printers break, then maybe that's going to affect the future price projection. So you have to understand this is intended to be directional. This is certainly not set in stone, but it is really, really cool data to look at, and it is really awesome to give us some type of an idea of what we could expect. Now, you can set this to look out 1 month, 3 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever. I look at it in a 3-month thing. I think anything you get beyond 3 months, it's the data's too cluttered. So I set it at 3 months up right. You see the little spaghetti chart that comes out of it. Down below is the data that I entered. And then that's the actual data that comes out of it. So what I did was I broke it down into 3 different displays. So we look at the newest ones right here. So Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars. This is what the BI calculator came up with. Now, Silver Tempest and Lost Origin, that means nothing to me, but because they're too new. But what I want to do is use those two to explain everything. So you'll see those top two lines, so August and December. August was when Silver Tempest came out. December was obviously the last month of the year. And then what you'll see down here is you'll see January 2023, February 2023, and March 2023. And then the columns is the forecast. These are the ones highlighted in yellow, right? You have the forecast, the lower confidence bound, and the upper confidence bound. So pretty much the forecast is where they think it's going to be. But then they say, okay, listen, like this is the low end and this is the high end. So you'll see Silver Tempest, again, not enough data for this to be relevant, but you will see that this is thinking there is much more downside risk than upside because it has a lower confidence bound and a lower upper confidence bound. Okay, so what you want to see is you want to see a small number in red and a large number in green, because that means that the math thinks that there is an outsized chance that is going to increase in value versus decrease in value. Okay, so now let's look at Lost Origin. Lost Origin has more data points to it, and you see those numbers starting to tighten up a little bit, okay? So Lost Origin, you know, I think it could on a lower bound end in 19% lower, or it could end 13.8% higher. Now we get to Astral Radiance, right? Astral Radiance, we have even more data points for. That came out in February, so we got February data points in there. And you see that based off of the data that it has, it says in March 2023, it could be as low as $75. It could be as high as $137. So it's skewed pretty much 50-50. Again, need more data points. Then you get to Brilliant Stars, which is where you see Brilliant Stars has been hot lately. So this reflects that because the trend in the data is up and to the right. So you see, that's the great example of what I was talking about earlier. It is a bullish call, right? Bull means its value's going up. Bear means value's coming down. Whenever we use those terms, you need to understand that. Like those are stock market terms. So bullish sentiment means you think it's going to increase in value. Bearish sentiment means you think it's going to go down. So you see here, it has a low end of 164.95 in March, which is a drop of only about 9%. But you see that due to the recent data, it could go as high as 244.27, which represents a 35% upside. So if you think Brilliant Stars is a safe bet, if you think that it's going to continue to grow, this is one scenario where you might say, hey, due to recent market trends, you know, the math is telling me that there's much more upside versus downside risk on this one. And we always talk about that, right? Like we always talk about outside risk versus reward. So we always want to make sure that we have more potential upside and less downside risk. So that was a really cool one to look at. And again, I'm excited to continue to build this out. I'm excited to continue to look at this month over month because we're just going to get smarter, right? Like even next month, we'll have 13 data points versus TCG Player, which is only going to have 12 because they only show 12 at a time. So we're going to get really smart with this. Next, this is the next 4 that came out. So we have Fusion Strike, we have Evolving Skies, we have Chilling Reign, we have Battle Styles, right? Like no surprise, Evolving Skies is the biggest boom or bust. And I think that, you know, with the thought that, hey, there could be a bunch of reprints. I know a bunch of people think Evolving Skies is going to be the big reprint that they're launching. Like to see that, hey, it could go all the way up to 409 or it could be all the way down to 193. I think that's kind of reflective of how we're all feeling right now, right? A lot of people are very bullish on Evolving Skies. They think it can weather the reprint storm and it could continue to go on that meteoric rise, keep going up and to the right. But then there are other people who say, oh, you know, the reprints are going to go ahead and crash it and it's going to, you know, fall back down, not to MSRP, but it's going to come back down to earth, which represents that $193.84. So when I saw this, I was like, man, that's really indicative of what a lot of people are saying right now. Like we got some bulls, we got some bears. It'll be funny to see how it all works out. Fusion Sky, you see it's a little bit more bullish on Fusion Sky. Then you come down to Chilling Reign. You know I'm big on Chilling Reign. So when I pulled this, I thought that was cool. Obviously a bull indicator here on Chilling Reign. And then we get to Battle Styles. Battle Styles, it's bearish on. Battle Styles has been struggling a lot. Not really strong booster box price, down in the 90s. You know, it's saying in March it could be down to 85. It could be as high as 98. I don't know. I have a hard time ever envisioning any of these Pokemon boxes without some crazy outside influence getting down into the $70 mark. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't feel like, I feel like the market is too strong and too healthy for it to get down there. So whenever I see these crazy low numbers, I don't think Battle Styles is going to get down to 85. I could certainly see it getting up to 98, but honestly, I just think it's going to stay flat for the next 3 months. And I love the fact that we're only looking at 3 months of data here because I think this will be fun for us to come back and look at. And then once we look at it after the end of the quarter, we'll also have more data points. So then we'll be able to look at the next quarter. So this is going to be a fun exercise. Super pumped up about it. So the very next thing right here, we got Vivid Voltage, we got Darkness Ablaze, we got Rebel Clash, and we have the Sword and Shield original set. All right. Vivid Voltage, it's a little bit more bullish on, but either way, it's not a huge gap between the two. Darkness Ablaze, it's bearish on, so it thinks there's a lot more risk of it going down and a very, very small chance of it going up, which I think is really interesting. I hope you guys love this data. I think this is fascinating. And same thing with Rebel Clash. You know, Rebel Clash has got a bear call. You know, it says it's, you know, it could be as low as 15% down, or it could be as high as only 2% up. So those are two that, you know, if I use this again just as a tool, if I look at this, if I look at that grading report, you know me, I like to look at the value of the cards within the box. I'm going to do a whole other video on that later. But if I use all of these together, you know, that probably will mean I won't be investing in Darkness Ablaze or Rebel Clash right now. Doesn't mean that can't change. And then Sword and Shield, it's, you know, maybe up a little, maybe down a little, but there's not a whole lot of upside or downside in the Sword and Shield according to this data. So, you know, those are the 12 from Sword and Shield that I was going to look at. I have all of this done for Sun and Moon. I just got to finish putting a bow on it and finish putting it into these this format for you all to look at, so you don't have to look at all the crazy numbers and stuff. I love doing that work for you guys, and I would love to hear what you all think. Again, this is what math says. You know, math has no thoughts, no feelings, no heart in the game. Math is just black and white, and again, we have to understand that, you know, all that is an indicator. So I started with this slide. I wanted to end with this slide because I want to hammer home again. It's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. These certainly aren't predictions, but these are unbiased, not tainted by my thoughts or my feelings. Like, this is simply what the math is telling us. So it'll be really, really fascinating to come back and look at this data and see where it stands and see if we fall within those bounds. And maybe we'll say 70% we're on the upside, 30% we're on the downside. Maybe it'll be 50-50. I don't know, but I am really excited to have all of this stored. My commitment to all of you is I will continue to update this every single month as new sets come out. As Scarlet and Violet comes out, I will add it to this. And over the next couple years, I think we're just going to have this amazing mountain of data. It'll be really cool to see how the markets fluctuate. We'll make notes in there. Hey, the stock market went down 15% this month, and this is what the Pokemon market did. Anyways, I'm a data nut. I think this is going to be really, really cool. So, Final thought of this is use it as directional, use it as a tool. Let's go out there, let's play some chess when everybody else is playing checkers. Let's have a ton of fun collecting, because this is all what it's all about. And you know, if you're not a subscriber, we'd love to have you in the crew. So hit that subscribe button, drop me a comment, and I appreciate you all more than you know, and I hope you have an epic freaking day. Thanks, everybody. Bye.